Am I the a-hole for telling the lady at the pet shelter that she is actively hurting adoption chances? I, 24F, have been trying to adopt a cat for a while from this local shelter. I'm not new to owning cats. I've always been surrounded by them growing up, so when I moved away from my family home, I knew I wasn't going to be taking the cats with me because they had bonded to my parents, the house, the dog, and they were technically my dad's babies, so that would just be cruel to separate them. I moved a couple hours from home to be closer to the college I'm attending, and I am really homesick. Like many, I deal with anxiety and depression, and it feels very heavy lately, even with my partner living with me. I always feel better when I'm around animals, and my partner and I are big cat lovers, so we decided to look at a shelter that specializes in senior cats for one to adopt. I never get any positive answer back, so I decided to go in person and ask the lady in charge of accepting or refusing applications if there was something more I could add to the applications in the future that would higher my chances of being accepted since the shelter is at max capacity, but we keep getting rejected. She pointed to the part on the form that asked, "What would make you give up a pet?" and said my answer was the problem. My answer was, "The only reason I would ever give up a pet is if I were to die and nobody in out of my friends or family could take it in. I would never voluntarily give up my pet." I was confused by what the problem was to that question, and she answered that I am not responsible enough if I don't have an immediate backup person to take the pet if I die. I was baffled because I have my partner and my parents who would take my pet in if I died. And in this scenario, I painted an extreme situation to say, I would never willingly give a pet away. I explained this to the lady and pointed out that she was being a little nitpicky on this one, but she insisted that if I was a good candidate, I would have a better plan than let my family or friends house the cat in a case of death. I was feeling really upset by the way she was speaking to me and her attitude, so I told her, "You know, if you weren't being so unreasonable, maybe the shelter wouldn't be so packed right now. Yes, animals need good homes, and it should be monitored, but you are actively harming the chances of them being adopted into homes. They are already in the later stages of life. Don't they deserve to live as many days possible in a warm home instead of a cage?" This is what may have made me in a hole because the lady started crying and called her coworker over to escort us out, telling her coworker that we said she was making sure the cats died alone. I wasn't intending to make her feel that way. I was just trying to point out a flaw in the choice processes. The shelter lady said we were not welcome to adopt as we are a whole. I'm uncertain and feel really confused by it all. My fiance says that they are extremely fishy and I shouldn't let their dramatics get to me. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. I've been getting some people asking. The first part of the form has emergency contacts for people that would take the cat in case of emergencies. That is why it is written the way it was. My adoption application included vet references and an official letter from the company I rent with signed and stamped that they would not be changing any pet policies and that cats could be kept in the building.